red blob is here, parts of kind of northern Knox. There's the city of Knoxville here if you're trying to get some of your bearings. I'll zoom out on this in a second, but let's talk about what happened last night. We had this storm pop up ahead of the line of showers and storms that we were talking about yesterday that were definitely moving in overnight. It's this lone storm that created a whole lot of those issues. Now, this is old radar loop that Mr. Ben Cathy himself took for us last night, recorded it so we could show you this today. This is called kind of back training, when you kind of see the storm kind of redeveloping behind that initial storm. So it kind of dies down and then it redevelops over hours. This started about 9 o'clock and lasted till about 2 a.m. This one storm, and it's really over that northwest parts of Knox County towards parts of Anderson County. That it's including areas like Clinton and into parts of Powell as well. So definitely saw that was really the main issue. Something like this, an event like this, is pretty rare and almost impossible to forecast. What causes this? There's a lot of different things that could cause this. The terrain could cause this. It could be something up in the atmosphere. It could just be the storm honestly redeveloping. It forms an outflow boundary and then it just continues to develop over one area for an extended period of time. It's about 5 hours, but you can really see it here. This is the loop, and I'm going to continue to play this for you just so you can see it. It popped up right there along the Anderson Knox County line and continued for multiple hours, and of course had a ton of lightning with it as well. It's what you guys heard all night, but basically started right around 9 o'clock. It kind of pushed out of here, I'd say closer to about 1:30, 2 o'clock, at least started to get a break for some of that area before more rain then came into that area. So this, after that 2 o'clock, what happened next? I'm going to go ahead and show you that of a radar loop from about 2 a.m. until about that 5, 6 o'clock early this morning. So here's that radar loop. We'll play this for you for a couple of times, essentially over that same area. So then this was the actual line of storage, the line of storage that moved in, that brought maybe another inch, 2+ into some spots. That definitely brought some issues into downtown Knoxville as well. So you can see that one storm pushed out, kind of died down, and then we had the line of those showers and storms as that cold front moved in, produced a ton of lightning throughout majority of the morning hours. Once again, this is about from 2 to I'd say about 9 o'clock this morning when we finally saw that rain push out of parts of Knox County. So we had that lone storm last night. That one that was just kind of redeveloping over and over and over again. Once again, very difficult to predict. You don't really know what's happening until it's happening, which is why we got that flash flood warning when we did. Here's another look at just how heavy that rain was from the Clinton towards the Powell area, just north of downtown Knoxville, mostly into that northwestern part of the area, just a little bit west there of Fountain City. The city of Powell, I know, got hit hard, and a lot of our people here live in Powell, and they were even saying the winds too, with that, the straight line winds, and you got that heavy rain, easy to knock down those trees, which is why we're seeing a lot of damage in that area. Taking a look at the bigger picture, if you're in areas like Blount, Sevier County, you're like, hey, it wasn't too bad for me, and it probably wasn't. Parts of Sevier County got to about 2.5 inches, almost 3 inches into Claiborne and Campbell County. Over towards the Plateau, you guys got in on a few severe thunderstorm warnings. There was also a flash flood warning in Fentress County. Got to about 2, maybe 2.5 inches up into parts of southeastern Kentucky, about an inch or two down into parts of that southern valley. So for now, what we have is an aerial flood warning. No more rains really expected except for a few spotty storms as we head a little bit later this evening. But this stays in effect until 2:30 for the area that we've been talking about, essentially because we got that heavy rain, the water's still here, and it has nowhere to go because it fell so quickly. So that is why we have this aerial flood warning. You're just going to have to be patient over the next couple of hours as crews work to get things back on for you, whether you're without power, to get the waterway, or just even letting the water recede over the next several hours. Here's another view of that lightning last night. It was insane when I was driving in. A lot of this that you're seeing where it kind of looks like a strobe light, a lot of people are describing it. It's a lot of that cloud to cloud lightning that doesn't make a lot of noise. A lot of you talked about how loud it was out there. And it was. We heard it here in the studio. It shook the studio. Frequent lightning. The lightning was very close. That all has to do with how loud the lightning can actually be. And then, of course, when you just have so much energy, which we had a lot of heat, we had a lot of humidity, that creates a lot more energy in the atmosphere, and that can just create more electricity. And then it gets louder, and then it's closer. I actually got an alert. If you have that WVLT First Alert weather app, it said lightning in your area 0.0 miles away. I've never seen that. So I know that we had one super close here to the station which is why it was loud and it probably woke you up. I just want to take you through this really quickly to show you the next couple of hours could potentially be tracking a few spotty storms. I think mainly foothills towards the mountains. There is one model that wants to redevelop some storms kind of over that same area this evening. I think this is going to be hard to redevelop. I think it's going to be mainly potentially some light showers. This is showing closer to 6 o'clock. We'll definitely continue to keep an eye on this, but I think it's going to be hard to redevelop with what has happened so far today. But very spotty storms. I think they mainly stay foothills towards the mountains this evening as the last leg of this cold front pushes out of here. After this, we're tracking more heat and more humidity, Casey. But really what happened last night was a very rare phenomenon that happened. And if you had that WVLT First Alert weather app, hopefully that kept you safe throughout some of those overnight hours. And once again, just be very patient today as we watch those waters recede really over the next several hours.
And Paige, I know you and Ben Cathy have been working 24 hours tracking this for us, so we appreciate your hard work for that, and thanks for that update. And we also are talking to people who had to leave their homes this morning as those floodwaters rose. We want to get out to our Erica Lunsford, who is out in the downtown Knoxville area. And Erica, you're actually speaking with people who are affected by this flooding. What are you seeing?
Well, Casey, it's just a shock. And I think a lot of people out here today are out here just taking pictures and videos, just seeing the damage that's been done and all the flooding that's been done in the parking lots here. I'm here at 23rd Street, right outside of University Walk. You can see behind me here, this is part of the parking lot here. The water going up pretty high on that dumpster there. You can see the water is just completely flooded. A few moments ago, someone actually tried to walk across this water to one of the cars that are there, but it's completely flooded, and a lot of parking lots in this area are flooded. I'm here with Grace, who actually lives here. So tell me, what was it like last night? Did you hear the rain? Did you wake up and just see this? What was it like when you first saw this morning?
Yeah, so it started raining about 10:30 last night, and it was raining pretty hard. But, you know, we went to bed normal. We didn't think anything of it. And then it woke us up a few times. It was thundering. It was really loud. We got flood warnings about 3 o'clock this morning, but it was 3 o'clock. We weren't going to move our cars. We didn't think anything of it. My roommate got up to go to work, and she actually stepped straight into a puddle, and she looked and our parking lot was completely flooded. And we came out here, and it's just crazy. We've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and then I know your car was parked somewhere else, not in this area where we are now, but tell me about your car, how it's doing. Do you think it's okay? Is it severely flooded?
So I hope my car is okay. It's just kind of low, but the water wasn't quite to the engine. It was just to the door. Hopefully no more rain comes, and it should be fine, but we'll see. I haven't tried to turn it on or anything yet.
And then what about your apartment? Were you affected by this at all, with your apartment?
No, thankfully we're on the 3rd floor. We didn't have any water damage or anything, but going down the stairs, the 1st floor looks fine too. So hopefully.
And then anything else you want to say about just seeing this? I heard from property managers it could take a couple of days for this water to get cleared out and recede. Any thoughts or?
It's just crazy. Like I said, I've never seen anything like it. I hope all the people that do have water damage are okay and they make sure everything is safe.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you continue on with your day.
Thank you.
As you can see, a lot of people here are just shocked just by being out here. A lot of people are taking pictures and videos, as I mentioned before. And our photojournalist, Sean Poston, did speak to the property manager before I got here, and he tells me that she said it could take up to 3 days to possibly get all of this water cleared out from this area. But of course, a lot of people living here are hoping it comes sooner than that. Casey?
Yeah, Erica, and I think the good news that we've heard this morning, and I wanted to ask you, have you heard of any reports of any injuries or anyone that has gotten hurt due to this flooding?
Casey, I haven't had any reports of that yet, but I am going to check again with the property manager, hopefully in the next couple of hours or so, and just ask around to see if anyone had to be evacuated from the 1st floor of some of these buildings here, and if there are any injuries. Casey.
All right. Our Erica Lunsford reporting live for us out there in the downtown area. Erica, we appreciate it. Also wanting to show you some flooding that is happening in other parts of East Tennessee. This is Clinton, wanting to show you this video. If I could just grab this real quick. I know we've got David helping me here. David, I'm just going to go ahead and take over. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's take a look at this. Trees uprooted in the Clinton area. Now, this morning, we were getting early reports. Of course, as Paige told you, some of this rain started last night, and then it continued on this morning. And that's when we started to get these reports of flooding and other issues in East Tennessee, including Clinton. This is where people had to be evacuated from certain roads of rural areas here in the Clinton-Anderson County area. So we had some crews out there this morning, our Gwendolyn Dupree, on the way to go see what was happening. And it turns out a lot of these roads were closed. Clinton Highway was one of them, Clinch Avenue. Reports of roads actually buckling in some of those areas. It was just very difficult for people to get around this morning. A lot of crews saying, hey, if you don't need to leave your house, don't. We're also getting some photos and pictures from you viewers at home, including this one. This is from Tiffany Williams. This is in the Powell area. She said that she woke up this morning and at least 7 trees were down in her front lawn, including this one on top of her car. So a lot of people woken up by the storm. You heard the person that Erica was talking to just a minute ago saying they were getting those warnings, didn't think anything of it until they woke up and they saw either flooding or damage like this. So that is what a lot of people are dealing with here in East Tennessee as we are trying to clean up from those storms. And the good news is most of that rain, as Paige told you, is over. So that means hopefully some of this water will start to recede and then also just find a place to go because the ground is so oversaturated, which is why you also see these trees that are uprooting. Taking a look at your outage power outage map. This is from Knoxville Utilities Board. You can see just over 5,000 people still without power. A lot of people in the dark, and I know a lot of people are watching us through phones or tablets. And remember, if your power ever goes out and you want to stay up to date with the weather or with what's happening, you can live stream our newscasts, both WVLT and CW Knoxville, on our WVLT News app. We offer that there. You just have to download the app to take advantage of that because right now about 5,229 people are without power. Most of those people in the Powell area. You can see a really large chunk here in Powell, Broad Acres area, Ponderosa Hills area, as well as Bell Campground. A couple spots here in Fountain City and Skip area, and then another big cluster here in South Knoxville. So a lot of people there sitting in the dark today, which is not going to be good if we can't get the power back on for air conditioning, as it is going to be a hot day today. So I know crews are working around the clock to make sure they get that power back on for you folks at home. But for those of you just joining us, the good news here with all of this flooding that we saw is that we have not gotten any reports of any injuries. This is some of the flooding in Clinton. You can see just how saturated the ground is there with that tree being uprooted, and this was a road. Now, we tell you this all the time. Turn around, don't drown. Unfortunately, we saw so many people still driving through water this morning. It only takes a couple of inches of standing water to just completely take a car away. So it's just not worth it. If you see that, take another way around. It might take a little bit longer, but it could be the difference between a potentially dangerous situation. And a lot of these places, they flood often. And we're also seeing some other areas that aren't necessarily prone to flooding. So when you get heavy rains like this, it can really happen anywhere. Taking a look at downtown Knoxville too, this video was coming in early this morning just after the sun came up, but if you look around you can see those cars. It's all the way up to the top window, so definitely a lot of damage there. This one, the Fort Sanders area, which is where our Erica Lunsford was reporting from just a few minutes ago. And I want to show you some more of these trees. So many uprooted trees just ripped from the ground, taking some of the earth with them. And that's also why we're seeing so many power outages, because these trees, a lot of them massive, will take down these power lines. And until it's safe for crews to get out there and restore the power, there's nothing really that they can do. Wanting to show you some of this lightning that we were seeing last night. Some people reported seeing it from miles away. Paige was talking about how it was quiet lightning, but then also you heard those rumbles of thunder. I know here in the where the station is in the Bearden area of West Knoxville, it was very strong thunder rumbling really last night and then again this morning. Take a look at this video that Mary Ann Gore sent us. She lives in Clinton, and she says she lives near the Clinton High School. She said she woke up, walked outside on her balcony. That's a road, and it looks like a rushing river. So that was early this morning. I want to say around like 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning when she sent me that video, and she just said, yeah, she got the warning. She looked outside, and that's what she saw. The good news is that her home wasn't damaged in this particular case. This video also, we're seeing, this is from our crews who were out on Clinton Highway where they were seeing downed trees taking out those power lines. That was that was the main issue this morning in the Clinton area, where they were shutting those roads down. And just be careful, even though the rain has stopped, there are still several roads down here in Knoxville and in the Anderson County area. Knoxville police was tweeting out those specific roads. You can see 3rd Creek at Hinton Drive, Knox Road at Fair Drive, and then 23rd Street is also one that is closed. Concord Street, Painter Avenue, 5th Avenue at Hall of Fame Drive, and 512 Baxter Avenue. So we are going to keep an eye on things, but it does seem like things are getting better around East Tennessee. And the good news here is that nobody is hurt. Everyone is accounted for. But it is going to be a long cleanup for a lot of people, especially those who had to leave their homes due to flooding this morning. So we'll keep you up to date. Stay tuned to our WVLT newscast, as well as our WVLT First Alert weather app, our news app, and our social media pages. Stay safe.